On the champion's trunks, I'm calling this low here. On the challenger's trunks, he's wearing them quite high. Right on this mark, I'm considering low. Do you understand? No matter what happens, obey my commands. Good luck to you both.
And Jacobs has promised to do the same to Whitaker.
This type of fight, he doesn't get hurt as much.
So you recommend that Jacobs stays at close quarters with Pernell?
Pernell is such a slick fighter. Until outside, I don't think Jacobs really has much of a chance.
Once Pernell gets him out at punching distance. No hold. First round, Pernell stepping back.
He's throwing at Whitaker. Whitaker is not used to seeing this because he hasn't fought very many southpaws.
But he's given Whitaker a little bit of everything to get inside here in the first round.
He's being clever about not being there to be hit.
What I told you in the beginning would be a very smart technique. May become a problem for Whitaker if he does. Pernell shouldn't sit there and bang with him. Pernell should go back to his own game. And that's pretty smart because that would get him inside. And I think that's the only thing he really plans to do with it.
Apart a little bit.
Like I said, if he's
the accurate Whitaker jab starting to bring a mouse to the right eye of Gary Jacobs. Whitaker missed with the left.
On the way in. And this, all this outside punching that Whitaker lands.
The more he lands of those, the more discouraging he'll be to Jacobs as Jacobs tries to come in. That's a push. Yeah, he believes that Pernell likes to take time off in there and get a little rest from time to time.
There's that right hook again that I warned you about.
Jacobs blocking Whitaker's jab and then left hook to the body.
Gary Jacobs is fighting a very smart fight here for himself. He landed a left, Whitaker countered with a left. Very smart fight for Gary Jacobs.
It's hard to imagine Jacobs doing any better.
Staying outside and letting Whitaker dictate the pace.
Absolutely. I think Jacobs is doing about as well as he can possibly do with what he's got. And Pernell countering inside and now
very, very hungry for a knockout here.
If he is in fact hungry for a knockout,
Jacobs to score, and he may find himself throwing less amount of punches than he plans to. So
last time Pernell Whitaker scored a knockout in a title fight was 5 years, 15 days ago against Juan Nazario. From Pernell Whitaker on that one.
We will find out about Jacobs' conditioning in this fight that he was running yesterday, because this will be a tiring fight.
Get off the back of his head.
Little rabbit punch from Jacobs.
Not to let Jacobs dictate to him in those close quarters.
And most of this is because of the inside fighting. The best pound-for-pound baseball player you ever saw.
Where's that? Your career isn't over yet. We'll see.
That he'll go ahead and make an inside fight out of this if this is what Jacob wants.
Conditioned himself for a 12-round test.
Thing will leave.
Yeah, it'll be gone, won't it?
And he knows that. This instant.
Stop holding.
I see a couple of bruise marks that I think is from good crisp punching from Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, there's a bump by the side of Jacobs' right eye that could get bigger as things go on.
Let's take a look at Whitaker's best punch so far, right on the big nose of Gary Jacobs. There you see it again from above.
Well, he's not really making him look less than perfect. He's just making it a rough night for Whitaker because...
Stop punching! At that elbow in Pete's head the whole fight, and Ron Lipton sees it, keeps wanting him.
Sometimes this shows that a fighter is starting to get frustrated because he can't have stuff his way. Or he could be getting fatigued, or he could start the punches.
Hard right hand inside by Jacobs. Jacobs is trying to get in close before launching every punch.
He's hitting Pernell a little bit more than we expected. Oh, good shot.
Four-punch combination for Whitaker.
No holding.
Pernell a little angry at himself for missing a left hand over the top.
Frustrated.
Round 6 of a scheduled 12.
There he was right-handed again, so I was right. The body shots, the short body shots, they are very effective. I think this is starting to make Gary weaken just a little.
Great 1-2 combination from Whitaker there. Right hand backs Jacobs up again. Well, Pernell is not exactly gifted with punching power, Roy.
Everybody can punch.
Pernell's last title fight knockout was a one-punch puree of Juan Nazario. He hasn't come close to doing something like that since.
Gary with a good left hand. Boxing may not know what this means, but Pernell is in front of Gary Jacobs right now. He's starting to get off before Jacobs gets a chance.
To use his footwork to stay ahead of Jacobs as they move around the ring.
Now you can see what I mean when I said Jacobs has no left hand. Closer to Whitaker.
Instead of beating him to a spot.
And this is Whitaker's fight. This is the fight they should have been fighting all along. But now, I guess Whitaker probably let him wear himself down a little. Let him have his fun, and now Whitaker's starting to catch it. If Jacobs keep walking into this left hand.
Fight has markedly turned Pernell's way in these last 2 rounds.
Because then you take over and you dominate the rest of the fight.
Pernell countering effectively with the right directly on Jacobs' chin. Round 7 coming to a close.
Yes, and the other athletes seem to be the problem.
Right.
Maybe the best favor we could do for Pernell this weekend was to bring Roy Jones.
I agree with you. I think that he's just dominating his fight since. I want to tell you, the dude was terrified of the officials.
3 judges from outside the Continental 48. Harold, one of the 3 is from Hawaii. Whitaker tripled up on Jacobs.
Now he can't land the punch.
And Jacobs, who was able to get to Whitaker's body in the first couple of rounds.
And head hunting is usually.
Whitaker taking his time here in round number 8 for stuff like that. But the skill gap has been increasingly a factor in the fight.
We'll start to set in here a little too. When a guy as experienced as Pernell in championship fights.
We haven't seen him at this level before.
Well, fight more on the inside, so I say he's doing a real good job for his first time.
Gary Jacobs with a chance here to make a statement as Whitaker waits in the corner and demonstrate his defensive skills, and he got away with one there.
Understand that when you showboat like this, it just gives you confidence.
He's like a camel. You don't know where to sit on him.
That's the punch he should be using right there.
Can school Gary Jacobs. That's what he's doing.
That's it. Nice and professional.
Time. And those are the type of adjustments that.
Whitaker to wait for Jacobs to walk in and then hit him with hooks. Whitaker content now to stand away from Jacobs and simply pop him with the jab over and over.
Keep him up, Gary.
Jacobs with enough energy left to punch his way in again.
Being right-handed, I can imagine that Gary Jacobs has a very hard right jab.
Michael Moore is a natural right-hander who fights southpaw.
Both have developed power hands, though. Michael Moore has a very good straight left, even though he's right-handed.
And De La Hoya can throw the right cross.
Right. Being in front.
And there's a hard right hand from Jacobs that backs Whitaker up into the ropes.
Yes.
Whitaker lashing back. Hard work with the right hand there by Gary Jacobs, keeping himself mentally in the fight.
Look at an exchange here. A right hook by Jacobs, followed by a left hook.
Harold Letterman, how'd you score the first 10?
Jim, 97-93, 7 rounds to 3, Pernell Whitaker. I think he's landing the cleaner, harder shots. Once in a while, the left. He's got a very poor left hand, but for the better part, it's all Pernell Whitaker.
And they're calling it a knockdown.
6.
Well, I think the referee really didn't know what had happened. And when he saw Whitaker hit the canvas,
I didn't see any punch that looked like a knockdown punch.
Throw and slip. Roy says slip.
But it won't. It'll still count as a knockdown.
Rafael Williams, Roger Mayweather, Buddy McGirt. Now Gary Jacobs.
but he doesn't stay down. Oh, he hurt Jacobs in.
And he decides then.
No.
Sweet pea, sweet pea. Maybe hoping that he'll get angry enough to try for a knockout.
Nothing happened. It was a right to the... It was a kind of a push and a half punch. It certainly was not a knockdown.
That I've ever seen at coming back from a knockdown.
Ike Cortez, another one in that division. You sincerely hope that before Pernell Whitaker finishes his career, we'll get a chance to see him in the ring with Cortez and Trinidad.
Both which would be very good fights. He and myself like to see. Those big punches usually get caught up on trying to get to Whitaker's chin.
Here, Whitaker seems interested at least in doing as much damage as he can do. And they were swapping fairly evenly early, and now Lipton takes a point away from Gary Jacobs for holding and hitting.
Well, that makes up for the no knockdown. Right? We're even.
Yeah.
Whitaker pounding away as the fight comes to a close. Had to soften Gary Jacobs up for a while.
Oh, there you go.
It became possible.
I told you. Fight should be stopped.
He knows how to close the show.
Had been landing all night. Boom. There's the left hand. I told you if Gary kept walking into the left hand, there would be a knockdown or a knockout. He walked right into it and he got knocked down.
Now
Boom.
Here's the second knockdown. And frankly, Lipton could have stopped it to protect Gary Jacobs from further punishment at any time.
Yeah, because Whitaker was hitting him with some very clean power shots. And right there you can see it's just follow-up work, which is the way you're supposed to finish a guy.
For the winner by unanimous decision, and still welterweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.